Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I am Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
Great.
So today we are talking about the Ventura Archetype Initiation Toro. Cigar is 6-inch by 52 ring gauge. Comes out of the La Grande Fabrica Drew Estate Factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Habano. The binder is Nicaraguan Habano, and the filler is also Nicaraguan Habano. The blender is undisclosed on this cigar, but it was released in August 2016, and the cigar has a price point of $11.99. So with all that info out of the way, Jiunn, what was your pre-light experience like?
In terms of the look of the cigar, I thought the wrapper shade was a Colorado Claro shade. Major veins well pressed, seems tight but visible. Bunch of roll felt really good. There's a great uniformity to the entire cigar, no soft spots. Head finish off with a really well applied triple cap. In terms of the nosing and cold draw experience, wrapper, I got a really strong, like the wet socks strong barnyard kind of a thing going on, and a wet earthiness to it. Smelling the foot, black tea and white pepper. Cold draw, hay, dry wood, and a hint of baking spices. But overall, pretty good.
Yeah, wrapper was lighter brown, had a network of veins that were running throughout. The seams were barely visible, but they were very smooth. Also, 3 very well applied caps. 2 bands on the cigar. Primary band being red, silver, and black, shows a winged beast on there. Secondary band is at the foot, and it's silver, displays the name of the lion theme there. The aroma of the wrapper was a mix of leather and barnyard. And the foot aroma was very interesting. It was kind of a mix of like pipe tobacco and black licorice. So I don't know, maybe kind of where you kind of get that black tea piece from. Pre-light draw brought like a slightly less full pipe tobacco flavor that I was getting from that foot aroma. If you looked at the foot, you could definitely see that some of the tobacco was much darker than some of the other filler tobacco. So I thought that was interesting as well. So getting into the flavor notes, Jiunn, what was your experience like?
I got some pretty unique notes in the cigar. Maybe it's due to the perhaps some infused tobacco in there, but who knows? It's not disclosed. But first third mixture of aged dry wood, white pepper, that's mainly on the tip of the tongue, and baking spices. Half-inch in, a white pepper started coming. It becomes a bit sharper, but it's never overtly sharp. Retrohale brings stronger notes to both the baking spices and aged wood. There's also this the retros for me. It's really unique, like almost this like Eastern medicine wood herb kind of a mixture going on. Not like so when I say that, I mean like when you could walk into I don't know how many cigar smoker walk into a freaking Chinese medicine shop. Or just you walk into like a hippie store or something, and then you go and it just smells like all this herb, not like weed herb, but like
Right.
wood mixture herb, kind of a medicinal thing. Anyways, walk into one, let me know. Finish consists of mild dry nuts, subtle black pepper, strength body, medium. Moving on to the second third. The profile is wood dominant. Giving that same aged dry wood. Within the background of flavors, subtle white pepper, faint baking spices, retrohaling the cigar, that unique wood herb kind of a medicinal note is barely detectable, leaving me with namely deeper notes of aged wood and semi-sweet dry roasted nuts. Finish lingering pretty long, aged quite with the aged dry wood, layered white pepper spice. Strength and body still at their medium point. Moving on to the final third. It's essentially a replica of the second third, still being aged dry wood centric. That note surrounded by the same black white pepper and the baking spices. Retro still, it's actually by far my favorite part of the cigar. Stronger notes of aged wood and semi-sweet roasted dried nuttiness. Finish continuously lingering with dry wood, layered white pepper, and that same semi-sweet roasted dry nuttiness that's coming off the retro. And strength and body finish up at the medium mark. So a unique experience in a way, especially on the retro.
Yeah, initial draws brought a very mellow aged wood note. It was kind of both in the mouth and on the retrohale, and the smoke was very thin. At a quarter inch in, things pick up as the profile became fuller and the smoke was getting thicker. At a half inch in, a very subtle baking spice was present in the background, while that aged wood was kind of gained a bit of a creamy component to it. And as the third came to a close, the cigar continued on with that creamy aged wood and that subtle baking spice note. And the strength was just below the medium mark. And then getting the second third, profile was very similar to the first, just a slight increase in the baking spice from before. At a half inch in, that cream lessened a bit and left kind of more aged wood and baking spice up front. And then an inch and a half, the aged wood transitioned to kind of like a standard oak, while that baking spice remained, while the retrohale was just oak as well. And that's kind of how the third finished out. And the strength in the second third also was slightly below medium. Getting to the final third, kind of gained an interesting flavor that I couldn't really put my finger on. It was a bit sharp, but I couldn't really identify it. The oak and the baking spice were still in the profile. And at 3/4 of an inch in, that sharp, bright component had increased a little bit and was kind of overshadowing the other flavors. At an inch and a quarter, that bright note kind of faded back a little bit and turned into a slight mintiness to go along with the oak. And the baking spice had completely left the profile at that point. And that's kind of how the cigar finished out. And the strength had bumped up a little bit to just be right at medium. So getting into performance for burn and draw, what was your experience like?
Um, in terms of the burn, overall performance was really good. Very good burn, slightly flowery ash, relatively sharp burn. Most importantly, never had to use my lighter, so all good really. Total smoking time, hour and 45 minutes, which is fairly in line with most Toros that I smoke. In terms of draw, perfect draw, struck that perfect balance between the proper amount of airflow that I like, not being too loose or too tight. Well constructed.
Yeah, the burn for me was rock solid. I mean, it was super straight. Ash held on in impressive 2 inch increments. And I seem to find that pretty much everything that comes from Ventura, and they use a ton of different factories, but everything that comes from Ventura seems to have like an amazing burn line to them. It just ash holds on forever. It just, I don't know if it's there's some sort of a common tobacco they're using in the filler, or it's just, I don't know. They just all seem to perform that same level. In regards to the draw, it was a bit snug for me, especially in the final third. I made a second cut on the cigar. I tried a draw tool, but it didn't help at all. It was still pretty snug. You know, throughout the cigar was snug, and then the final third it was even tighter. So it was a bit interesting. Overall, what were your thoughts on the cigar?
I thought it was an average to good cigar. When I think about the other archetypes that I smoked that made it into production, as well as some of the ones that you shared with me, I think this one's my favorite one out of the bunch. You know, and I'm going to make a statement that, you know, it's more of a I wish it happened. So knowing that this is produced at Drew Estates, I kind of wanted to have a Drew Estate, like an Undercrown-esque or like a Liga-esque kind of a vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get that at all. I mean, hey, I get it. Like the blender's undisclosed. I'm even talking about, you know, the reading the literature of the makeup of the cigar, you know, the wrapper, binder, filler, and all that. You know, there's not much information that's given. But you know, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like any other Drew Estate cigar that I've had. But nonetheless, I think if you're looking for something that's really easygoing, well-constructed, kind of a smoking experiences, you kind of want to see like what this like archetype thing is all about, this Ventura push of, you know, these new brands that's been coming out this past year. I think this one is worth trying out of the other ones. I smoke it again, but you know, I wouldn't necessarily go out, you know, and buy it. So
Yeah, cigar started out, you know, very smooth profile, and kind of as it went along, lost that cream, which left a, you know, a primarily oak and baking spice note. I think smooth is a really good descriptor for this cigar. Strength level was, you know, kind of below medium for most of the time, and I think if you're introducing someone to cigars, just like for the first time, this cigar might be like a perfect fit because it's super smooth, kind of right in the medium profile for the strength level. So I think it might be a really good fit for that. I don't think this is something I would go to often, But I would revisit it, kind of looking for that kind of a smooth and mellow type experience. And I think this is definitely the best archetype I've smoked so far. So there's another one from Drew Estate that I'd like to smoke as well. But from the 3 previous that I smoked, I think this one definitely ranks up there as the best one. So getting into our scores, I gave this cigar my mouse is not helping me, a 5.93. You gave it a 6.20. How do you think that matches up with your experience?
Matches up well. I mean, when it hits that 6 range, I think it's an overall good cigar. Good to like high average, I guess, is a better way to put it. Overall, good, decent flavors, incredible constructive cigar. So yeah, matches very well with my expectations.
Yeah, I agree. My match as well. I think the only difference between our scores really is just that tight draw I had. If it would have been a little bit better, I think we'd be pretty close on scores. So I think this is another one that we kind of agreed upon overall. So we both scored a good flavor in the first third and then average the rest of the way. Yeah, it's definitely a smooth, mellow cigar. Like I said, if you want to sit down with somebody for the first time, this is probably a perfect cigar to sit down with them on, because it's going to be able to. It's not going to overpower them with strength. It's not going to, throw a lot of crazy flavors at them, but it'll give them kind of, I think, a nice, enjoyable experience. So definitely something to check out. Especially if you haven't even smoked any of the archetypes yet, this is definitely a good one to go to. So, any other final thoughts from you?
Nope.
Okay. If you're just catching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Be sure to follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. And all the review recaps can be caught on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.